All right, welcome, brothers, to the Saturday Morning Stoa, where modern men come to sharpen their edge, align with purpose, and execute with clarity. I want to remind everyone that this isn't just a check-in, it's a weekly recalibration, a chance to see where we've held the line and where we've let it slide. It's been a few weeks since we've had one of these. Tristan, in the last few weeks, have you made any changes? Have you had any challenges? What have you learned in the last few weeks?
One is I changed my workout routine, so it's a lot easier and more sustainable situation I'm in, I guess.
Yeah.
And because I've been working out, but it burns me out. So I'm like, what's going on? And so it could be age, I don't know, it could be conditioning. But I had a memory from a long time ago. I was looking at Dorian Yates, and in case people don't know, he was the top guy back in the 90s for a while. He learned a lot from Mike Mentzer, who was a top guy back in the 80s. Their philosophies were quite different than the average. Everyone's like, you gotta do 3 sets of 10, you gotta do like 25 sets for chest or whatever,
Yeah.
hour, 2 hours at the gym. But Mike and Dorian were more like, no, it's about efficiency. So you work out one set to failure, you push yourself, and if you work hard enough, like there's no need to do another set, like you're done. And I was like, yeah, that's right. And so I adopted that kind of workout. So my workouts only take like 20 minutes. When I'm done, I still feel good and energetic instead of burnt out and needing to have a nap, right? And so that helps a lot.
I think the
And
one
then,
thing with that was they talked a lot about taxing your central nervous system. And all the big guys that were doing those 2 hour long workouts afterwards, they would just be fried. They would need to go have those naps and calm down because they'd be just shaking.
they
But when they're
sleep.
talking like doing those 1 set or 2 sets to failure, you're good after that. Move on to the next one.
Yeah, like of course they're all on steroids and things, but
Of
it
course.
translates to natural people as well. That philosophy of if you just work hard enough, there's no need to do more than one set because there are studies on this, and I believe it's like if you do one set to failure and you do a good job, you work that muscle on the first set to about 85% of its capacity. The second set, obviously, you're going to be overworking some parts of that muscle and working maybe some new parts of that muscle, but it's not going to get that last 15%. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So, like, once you hit that 85% on the first set, like, what's the point? Just go do a different exercise.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
if it's a small muscle, you might even be done. Like side shoulders, you just do lat raises once and you're done. You don't need to do a whole bunch of stuff.
There's diminishing returns after that. It's like
Yeah,
already taxed it. So, no,
you're
I
just
like that,
hurting
man.
yourself.
And
Yeah.
I like that you're trying different things, right? You had that thought like, hey, you know what? I'm feeling drained. Something's not right. You went back to the drawing board and drew inspiration from other people and go, yeah, I'm going to give that a shot.
Yeah.
So kudos to you for actually thinking, hey, something's wrong here. I'm not feeling energetic after my workouts doing the research. Bravo, man. That's awesome. The main teaching today, and I kind of alluded to it in a post this week, but it's going to be around 5 minutes to forward motion. I wanted to start with a quote from Zeno, the founder of Stoicism. He says, well being is realized by small steps, but is truly no small thing. And that's important to remember. Taking those small steps builds on your character, builds on your life to newer heights. And one thing we got to remember too is discipline doesn't have to be brutal. The most underrated tool that I've ever used for building it is the 5 minute timer. I've started using this quite regularly now, and it's such a simple thing, but it got me out of this mental block of like, hey, I need to do this task. Okay, I have to have everything ready for it. Okay, now I can go. So whether it's tasks, conversation, habits we avoid, it's not that they're impossible. It's just that starting them feels heavy. And that's what it really felt for me. It felt super heavy to just like, okay, I need to do this thing. Just jump into it. And I was watching some Alex Mosey videos, some different stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this a shot. If you don't need to commit to an hour, you just need to begin. And that's what I started doing. Here's the method. It's super straightforward. The first thing and the most crucial thing is to determine if it's a task, a habit, a conversation you've been avoiding, and set a timer for 5 minutes. And then just start that thing, whatever it is that you've been resisting, just start it. And when the timer ends, you can stop if you want, but 80% of the time, you'll keep going. I'll put 5 minutes on the timer and it'll go by like that. And all of a sudden, I'm already into it. I'm already in the zone. Just keep going. So I find that it builds that momentum, and resistance hates movement. Your identity shifts the second that you start acting differently. I definitely want us to start implementing that on a daily basis. I think it's a very powerful tool. And I know for you, Tristan, you've been having issues with follow up and keeping motivated. And I think that this simple tool for you would help wonders. And it's not about productivity, it's about proving to yourself that you're kind of man that moves forward. That's what it is, right? And once you can start, hey, you know what? I'm that guy that sets those timers, starts a task, and then finishes it. It's a lot easier to get through all these little things we have to do on our daily basis. I've noticed great success from just setting that timer for 5 minutes in everything, relationships, business, my gym life. If I don't feel like I want to go to the gym, I'm going to set 5 minute timer, take my pre-workout, head to the gym. 5 minute timer goes off as I'm driving to the gym. I'm already on my way. I'm already good to go. Have you ever experimented with something like that, Tristan?
Yeah, I heard about it
Yeah.
by a guy named Steve Chandler, who's a life coach. I think he said 6 minutes, but it's the same thing. The thing I found with it is there's two problems I think a lot of people will hit.
Yeah.
One is if they look at their goal as this huge thing,
Mm.
it's so overwhelming that they won't even bother doing the 5 minutes, right? So we need to take, like, if I want to learn Spanish, it's like that's going to take thousands of hours and years. What's 5 minutes going to do, right? So the idea is to break down your goal into little steps. So like today, I'm just going to do 2 pages of this Spanish textbook or something, right? So take a big goal and break it down. You can break down every single goal. If you want to lose 50 pounds, just say I'm going to lose whatever that is per week, or what action is that per day. If I do a 60-minute walk every day, that's going to be 10 pounds a month and 50 pounds in 6 months, right? So you just take that action, you break it down. The second thing is worried or fear that what you do is not good enough. So you're judging your performance. This happens all the time. If you want to practice your golf swing, it's like, well, I suck at golf. What's 5 minutes going to do? Well, nothing, but 5 minutes over every day is going to make a big difference. And so,
Exactly.
yeah, you might swing a golf club for 5 minutes, then it's going to be terrible.
Mm.
But if you take away that judgment of, I suck at golf, I suck at swinging, just be like, I'm going to practice 100 swings in 5 minutes, regardless of what it looks like. Or I'm going to play the piano for 5 minutes, regardless of what it sounds like. That's what matters. Take that judgment out of it and just do the action.
I love that. You're so right. I agree 100%. We have these big goals. It's like, I'm going to start 5 minutes on it. It's like throwing rocks at a giant. It's not going to do anything. But if I've broken all these down into small tasks, I'm going to focus on that one. I can handle that in 5 minutes, or maybe it's going to take 10 or 15 minutes, but just starting that five and then keep the momentum going. I like that you added about the self-doubt and that critical judging of ourselves. We do that so often, and it's good to try and get out of that habit of, oh, it's not going to be good enough, or nobody's going to watch it, nobody's going to like it. Who cares? You know why you're doing it. Put the reps in. If it's received well, great. If it isn't, learn from it and move forward.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate the feedback on that. So right into the weekly challenge, right? This week's rep. So it's going to be dead simple, right? We're going to pick one task, and I want to add something to this, but we're going to break down a goal into smaller tasks and pick that first task, whatever it may be. We're going to set that timer and start. That's it. And we can do this daily, weekly. It can be the same task, it can be different tasks. I want us to track the reps because that's how you're going to build momentum. It's a good log to see what you've been working on and where more time and attention is needed. And like I said before, you don't need motivation, you just need movement, right? And that's how we build the man that we said we'd be. It's one 5 minute rep at a time. Set that timer, start, and move forward. It has been a few weeks since we last had a quick chat. How are things going? Like, are you struggling with current things? I know that you're doing well with your fitness routine and getting that motivation, which is awesome. But what about your business, your personal life? Has things been going well? Are you hitting roadblocks, frustrations, challenges, wins?
Mm, I have been doing some of the social media things that I've been putting off and getting out of my comfort zone. And I can physically feel it getting out of the comfort zone. For me, it feels like this almost vibrating, buzzing feeling in my chest.
Mm.
I just can't sit still. I have to like walk around if I do something that's out of my comfort zone. I can't last very long and then I have to stand up, walk around, and come back. But once
Yeah,
it's done, it's like that was easy. And I'm sure that's the same way with everything. So a lot of people are afraid to take that step because it's unknown. But once you take a few steps, it's like, hey, it's not that bad. Another thing I found was shiny object syndrome.
mm,
So I suffer from this. I think a lot of people do, where it's like I want to achieve something, especially in business. And it's like, okay, here's some guy who's saying good things that I resonate with. I'm gonna go watch this YouTube channel for a bit. But then this person over here said I should do stuff here. Oh, do that for a while. And then this person says this. And then it's like you're getting distracted. And maybe all those things are valid strategies or whatever.
yeah,
But if you're just looking at them and consuming them, you're not actually doing anything and moving yourself forward. And
exactly.
so at some point you have to say like, okay, I know there's 1,000 different things that I could be doing right now,
Mm.
but I just need to find something that aligns with me and stick to it. Just pick one guy, one mentor, and stick with that strategy until you get some momentum going,
Focus.
right? There's thousands and millions of people out there who can help you, but at some point you have to stop and actually do the work and start getting the results. Otherwise, you'll have a lot of knowledge, but you're not going to have any results.
Exactly. That's so true, right? Knowledge is at our fingertips for anything. You want to learn anything, you can get it. But knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power.
Yeah.
And you're so right. And I tend to do that often, and I have to catch myself. It's like, oh yeah, I'm watching this guy. Oh yeah, I like that kind of stuff. Okay, I'm gonna write these down and focus on that. I like this guy. He's talking about this stuff. And you're just bouncing back and forth from information sources, and then at the end of the day, you're just like, I don't know what to do. There's too much stuff. I don't know what to do. It's good to focus on, hey, I like what this guy is saying, what he's teaching. I'm gonna see if I can take some information from this, apply it, see if it works. If it doesn't, okay, move on to another coach or leader where you can learn from.
And just something for people's awareness in copywriting, which is written salesmanship, basically, like what you see in advertisements and content and emails, that's all copywriting. A very common strategy that they use is something called this is dead or this doesn't work anymore. You need to do this. So
Hmm.
don't do that, do this. And a lot of people fall for that because they don't know what's happening. But it's just a psychological thing. It's not truth in any way. Some people will say Facebook is dead, you should be on LinkedIn, or LinkedIn's dead, you should be doing emails. Like they'll say something is bad, you should do this good thing.
Hmm.
And it just so happens that they're selling $1,000 product that does that good thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What people do is they're like, hey, I saw an ad that says email marketing is dead. I should be doing social media, but I have an email list. What should I do? Should I just abandon it? They freak out. And this guy's like, Google ads are terrible. You should do Instagram ads. Now I got to do Instagram and get rid of my email. Basically, what everyone's saying is everything is bad and everything is good if you take everyone's advice. Everyone's saying
Yeah,
email is bad, Facebook is good, Facebook is bad, email is good,
yeah,
Facebook groups are dead, school groups are the best. Don't get caught up in that. It's all just psychological marketing stuff. There's lots of books on it. People do it because it works. When people say your problem is not this, it's that, it's usually not the full truth. Everything works. So I think it's important to figure out what works best for you.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
we all go through seasons in our life. So like this season, it might be organic marketing on a certain platform. And then once you got some momentum going, got some finances, maybe you can start paying for ads later. Or you eventually hire some guy to be a full-time tech guy, build your website, build funnels, and do all that stuff you don't want to do. Then you can start doing the funnel stuff. Just think about it like that. Like you don't have to be the expert at, just pick one, and then you can hire people to help you out with things later on.
Absolutely, man. A lot of times with marketing, they feed on confirmation biases as well. Maybe they're seeing a slowdown in their members and their business. Oh, well, let's give them an alternative. Facebook is dead. It's now Instagram, or Facebook
Yeah.
groups are dead. It's now school. That person who sees that message, like, I knew something was wrong with my Facebook group. I'm going to jump over to school. I'm going to spend this money over on school.
Yeah.
That's that confirmation bias. You got to know your demographic, know who you're trying to reach, your audience, and it's just market research to find out where are these people. And what you'll
Hmm.
find out is that they're on every single platform, everywhere. So it's like, why wouldn't you cast your net wide so you can have an attention on a specific one for sure? But it's like in today's day and age, I can make a post and I put it on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere if I wanted to. Don't just, oh, I'm going to tunnel now. I knew that school was bad. I'm just going to work on my Facebook group because they're feeding on the confirmation bias and waiting for you to take that hook where it's like, I knew something was wrong here. I'm going
Hmm.
to go over and do this now. And then you just keep on wasting your time, spending more money, where you can really just be focusing on getting your message out there, making an impact, and helping.
Like I don't care what your offer is. If it's a business thing, you could easily be making $10,000 like US equivalent a month just by one platform and one content per day and a really basic system. And so you don't need all this stuff. Like you don't need CRMs or automation either, just to start use your own labor. Later on, you can hire an assistant to take over some of that for
Absolutely.
you. Stick with the simple. The
Simple.
more you complexify, the less you do. It's just overwhelmed. The more you simplify, the easier it is. Just pick one platform or maybe two, copy paste the same content to each one. If it's not working, it's not the platform. It's something that you're doing. Figure out
Exactly.
what you're not doing correctly. I mean, coaching is good, and I think it's a legitimate business a lot of the time. But at the same time, consumers are not aware of how marketing works, and so they just kind of fall for things so easily,
Oh, yeah. Big
right?
time.
Like, oh, you shouldn't be doing carnivore. You should be doing high carb.
Yeah. Okay. I'm
Like,
doing high carb now.
I'll do a high carb for a couple of days, and it's like, oh, I don't feel so well. That's a scam. Like, no, it's not. It's like you just don't understand what you're doing.
Absolutely, man.
And so, yeah, business like diet's the same thing, right? Or working out, like you gotta do heavy weight, low reps. That's the only way to build muscle. I'm like fallacies. And then the
Absolutely, it
guy
is.
over here is doing like lightweight, high reps, and he's twice as big as me. It's not so simple, right? It's based on your personal situation. Another problem with marketing is people will say these universal statements.
Mm.
You said something like, "You're not lazy or unmotivated."
Mm.
I'm like, "You don't know my situation. It might be that, but it might not be that. I'm not going to fall for it." I want people to start critically thinking. If you see these kinds of headlines, don't just fall for them because it resonates with you or you feel it.
Mm.
Just think about it. Like, this guy doesn't know my situation, so why would he know what it is, right?
That's right.
But those headlines work
Yeah,
for viewership, right?
yeah, absolutely. And I had that too when I was younger because I would be so confused in the gym. Like, what do I need to do? And I see this guy over here, super strong, lifting, 3 sets of 3 max weight, huge, absolutely huge. And then there's this other guy over here, absolutely jacked. He's using the 15-pound dumbbells, doing curls, or doing side laterals. I'm like,
I've
okay,
seen that before, yeah.
how these two guys are both huge, but they're doing completely different things. I'm like, so yeah, one size doesn't fit all. You
Yeah.
have to figure out what works for you and what kind
Yeah.
of modality that you want to work in. You want to do high rep, low weight? You want to do heavy reps, heavy weight, whatever the case is. So I think that's important. Like you said, think critically and know that it's not just like, oh, well, this guy looks huge, so that's going to work for me. It's not
Well,
the
we
case.
don't even know what his intention is right now. Is he cutting? Is he bulking? Is
Yeah,
he a strongman? Is he a bodybuilder? We don't know.
exactly. Yeah.
So why even looking at him? Another thing that a lot of people don't think about when it comes to actual working out is like they say things like 3 sets of 10. It's like, okay, so why?
Mhm.
Well, that's the best for building muscle. How do you know that?
Yeah.
Because someone told me that and someone told him that, right? But
Yep.
like the real, I believe the story is that there was a study done a long time ago that's a guy was doing 10 reps because he wanted to figure out what the best was to build muscle. His reps were very slow.
Yeah.
And I think it took like 60 to 90 seconds to do the whole set
Yep.
because they're very slow reps. And he decided that seemed to build the most muscle because mainly it was time.
Attention. Yeah.
And people don't even think about time under tension. They just think, okay, I'll do 3 sets of 10. And they do curls like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 9. I'm done. That was a good set. I'm like, you didn't do anything, literally.
No, you just swung the
It's,
weight up and down.
and you look at me over here. I'm on rep number 2 and you're already finished. What are you doing? I'm doing nice and slow. So just 3 sets of 10. I mean, that's like borderline misinformation. Time is the most important thing.
Agreed.
And then when you're going up, whatever that, I forget the scientific name, when you're going up, that's
Yeah.
a certain
Center.
strength.
Yeah.
But when you're static, you're really strong. And when you're going the negative,
Yeah.
you're strong
Center.
as well. If you're just doing the positive and kind of forgetting the negative, you're only getting a partial workout.
Absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
go up and then go really slow down. That way you get, because most people know when you do curls, when you're at failure, you're only failure at the positive part.
Yeah.
Like, but if you swing the bar up, you can still do a whole bunch of
Yeah.
negatives.
Absolutely.
And so there's all kinds of things to think about that no one really talks about. And I think it's because it's not, you can call it like sexy information. Everyone just wants to hear what's your max bench or how
Yeah.
many rep sets. Like, no, it's more about time. What's your intention? How old are you? What's your body structure? Like some people can't do squats
Yeah.
because they have long legs or,
Injuries.
and then they say, oh, you gotta do squats. Squats is the best. Deadlifts are the best.
Yeah.
No,
Like I've seen bodybuilders that they don't do any squats and
Dorian Yates doesn't do,
they just do
yeah.
leg press or leg extensions.
Squats
Yeah.
can help you because it's a different movement or whatever, like almost the same movement, but different body position. So don't try to copy people because you don't know what their intentions are. And obviously, you don't know if they're taking anything or not. A lot of these guys who are huge, they're just naturally big bodied. And because they're so big, they're naturally stronger than the average smaller person or the average person, right? So you got like skinny people looking at these huge people, like, oh, I want to be like that. Like, you'll never be like that.
Yeah, it's like good luck.
That's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You just got to kind of figure out for yourself. So yeah, the more like fitness, business, just life in general, I think there's like certain topics that people just love talking about and yelling and screaming about.
But yeah,
Like the really important stuff, no one really talks about.
it's not sexy. It's not
Like,
controversial, right? It's not divisive.
yeah, the first thing people do, well, the first thing like I do in with clients is like, let's talk about your mindset. Let's talk about your goals. Let's talk about like why are you even here, right? And like they just want to make money, but no, you can only make so much money as your mindset will allow you,
That's it.
right? So you got to start with the mindset. They don't understand that. That's why you're being held back because you're struggling
That's going to be
because
your
you're not.
bottleneck.
It's not because there's no clients. It's not because it's a bad economy. It's not because your social media posts aren't fancy. It's
Mhm.
because you don't even know what you're doing,
Yeah.
and you have no direction. You have no like intentions, and like same with fitness or whatever else. Like even school. Like why am I at school? Why am I here?
Yeah, that's a big
Well,
one, man. Having
Yeah.
that why.
So, like, I unfortunately went to university later in life because I needed to stay there in Japan to get a visa. But that
Right.
was the reason because it's the easiest visa. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be here, but I just don't know what else to do. It's like, man, I wish I quit and just went somewhere else and saved that money and just spent it on traveling or something. So,
Yeah.
whenever you feel like intuition or depending on how you want to call it, like the universe talking to you or God talking to you or whatever it is, like you got
Yeah.
to open yourself up to that and listen to it. And I think it's also important to obey it as well.
Oh yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
because the times where I feel most frustrated or in conflict with myself are times when I'm not listening to that voice that's saying you should do this, and I'm like, I'm too scared, or I don't want to, or I'm lazy. It's like, no, you should do it. You should do it. It's just so frustrating when I'm battling that.
Inner
If I just
voice.
take
Yeah.
that advice, it's like I don't have a lot of experience. Don't listen to it, but
Yeah.
I'm sure if you follow that advice, a lot of people are going to find success, and a lot of people I know who do follow that voice,
Yeah.
loving it, right?
It's funny you say that because I started to really look at that and go, has there ever been a time where I'm like, you know what you need to do and go do it, and I've done it, that I ever felt like I regretted that decision?
I don't
Right.
think so.
For
Me
me, I
either.
know that for sure. Like every time I'm like, hey, you know what you need to do, and just go do it. The only time I've had that inner conflict was where I was like, I know I need to do this, but I'm just going to justify doing something else. Or I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to listen to my intuition. I always feel worse afterwards because you see afterwards, like, yeah, you know what, that would have paid off. I should have done that. I just didn't listen to myself. I
We,
start realizing that, hey,
oh,
you should be listening more to yourself and taking those actions. You're going to be way better off in every aspect. There's
yeah, and
like gut feeling, it's there for a reason.
people might dismiss it as religious. It's not religious at all, or spiritual. Technically, it could be spiritual. I don't know.
Yeah.
But if you dismiss it, that's your choice. But I really think people should explore this idea of some kind of greater thing communicating with us. If you think about it, we only know as a human being, we only know like it just we
Very.
don't know anything really, literally.
Yeah.
Like, and so if you had this universal thing saying, "Hey, Tristan, you should probably do this," who am I to say no? Because I don't know anything. It's like a kid saying, "Mommy, can we do this?" Mommy says no because mom understands a lot more than the kid does,
Exactly.
and the kid doesn't understand this stuff. So it's but times a billion in our case for like talking to the universe.
Absolutely.
And that if you want to do that or experiment, you need to have silence, quiet, calm your mind, turn off noises, stuff like that. Turn off the TV, turn off music. People who need to have music on all the time are afraid to be alone with their thoughts.
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely. I used to be one for sure.
me too.
Yeah.
And spend that time meditating, even if you're terrible at it. I'm terrible at it, but I do it and it helps.
Yeah.
Go for walks in nature and you'll start feeling it's just a feeling. It's not like a voice saying, Tristan, do this. It's just more like I feel like I should do something, or I
Yeah.
feel like I should do that, and just go with it. Have some fun, experiment, and see what happens.
Absolutely. Oh, and one thing I just noticed that you were talking, you said, I'm terrible at meditation. That's self-judgment, and you're not terrible at it. You're doing it. You're putting the reps in.
To
That
say
now
like
you quieted your mind.
try
That's all.
to take away that objection that other people have. Well, I'm not good at meditating. Well, I'm not either, but I do it and it helps. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. That's very powerful. I think I'm going to be a lot more active with my intuition and just listen to it, especially with business. Another one in Stoic philosophy is that obstacle is the way kind of thing, which is very similar to
Yeah.
like there's another book I read, pretty famous book, The War of Art. He talks about it as well. The more resistance you have towards doing something, the
Yeah.
more you should do that thing. So that's another signal for people out
Guidepost.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's simple that way when you think about it, right? What's
yeah.
standing in my way? That's where I need to go.
Yeah. Because like for me, daily posting content
Hmm.
would be the biggest resistance right now. And
Yeah.
I'm sure that would be the biggest game changer, right? So
Absolutely.
I'm the one holding myself back. It's just
Yeah.
I gotta do it. So
Yeah.
and then another thing sort of related to this is let's just use content creation as an example. Let's just say you like your goal is to write one piece of content every day. Instead of thinking I need to make a perfect piece of content or what am I going to say, all you do is have the goal in mind and allow the process to happen through the universe or whatever you want to call it. So I don't have a lot of experience with this, but I know some people like really support this. So you just focus on the goal and then allow the process to happen towards the goal. If you get fixed on that process, then nothing goes right and you get upset and frustrated. An example would be going on a first date with a girl and you're gonna be like, I'm gonna wear this, and then I think she's gonna be wearing a nice black dress, and I'm gonna go drive to her house, pick her up, and she's gonna smile and say, "Oh, Tristan, I'm so happy to see you." She's gonna, and I'm gonna feel so great. But in reality, she
Yeah.
comes out wearing like blue jeans or whatever,
Yeah.
and then she's like, "Hey, Tristan, what's up?" And I'm like, "Hi." This is
Yeah.
not like immediately everything falls apart because I've been
Absolutely.
nitpicking the process, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm disappointed. The date's ruined, even though it was not her fault. It was my fantasy.
Expectation on it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so instead, if I said, you know what, at the end of the date, we're gonna give each other a hug and say that was really fun and I want to see you again. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
And then the whole date just leads up to that. I have no control over it. I don't want control over the process and just let it
Love
be.
that.
Okay?
Love that, man. Yeah. That's
Same with
perfect.
writing content. Be like, okay, I want to write a piece of content today. And then some inspiration will come somewhere. And then you just kind of let yourself write. It's called free writing, like you just write without care.
Judgment free. Yeah.
And then you can go back and edit it. It
Yeah.
takes 5, 10 minutes and you got a piece of content. You put it out there and see what happens. So you just have the goal and allow the process to happen without getting into the details. And you should have an easier time doing things. Yeah.
Love that. That's awesome, man. I like that big time, especially for content creation. That definitely hit home for me. Focus on the goal. Let it happen.
Today, Tristan talked about getting in touch with intuition. So I'm going to write about that. Use open up a Google Doc, how to get in touch with your intuition.
Yeah.
Just let it flow, and there you go. It's done. You just have the goal and let the words flow.
Love that. No, that is awesome. Appreciate that, brother. Just taking my notes. We're going to run out of time shortly. I wanted to end with a quote from Marcus Aurelius. You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow. So for us here in the Forge, I don't want us to wait on tomorrow. I want us to set a timer and begin. Keep it simple.
I got a
As
timer.
always, get
It's
your
blurry.
timer. All right. Any last remarks before we head out, Tristan?
No, I think I ran out.
It's great, man. Love it. Love the feedback. It was good chatting with you again. I'll see you next week.
Have a good week.
Take care. Bye.